So I'm here in Staten Island. I just barely made it for sunset. This is the southernmost point of New York State. And I literally just ran here from the car as I pulled up about a half mile that way or so. To get my rig set up to capture the 360. Still catching my breath a little bit. It's actually a really beautiful sunset tonight. And as I was walking up the path to get here, I could see the leftovers from Sandy from the other week. So I'm guessing these piles of rubble and there's garbage bags on the beach. There's a tree knocked over up there. I saw a few trees knocked over actually. So yeah, looks like it's been hit pretty hard around here. So here's some of those trees that I have to believe are from Sandy. They're totally knocked over. They're just all over the place. Along with random pieces of garbage, which I'm sure were washed in with the storm surge. Another tree. So yeah, it looks like this whole area was underwater just a few weeks ago. There's some more sandy wreckage. It looks like an outhouse or a TARDIS, one of the two. And some more over on this side. And this one just got totally crushed. And just piles of debris. And this area is a park, so I think most of the debris is trees and branches and limbs and stuff. I hate to see what some of the housing areas look like. It's got a cool sunset panorama of the southern point of New York. If I'd been 5 or 10 minutes later, I probably would have totally missed it. So I ran about a half mile to get to it in time. So hopefully it'll come out good after all that. And just walking around, it looks like the neighborhoods are pretty decent shape. You know, after the hurricane, there's already a house over that way that's got their Christmas lights up. Again, a lot of trees knocked down in the park. Looks like they still got some cleaning up to do, but I think it's bouncing back pretty quick. Saturday morning at Montauk, I just went and shot the panorama from the point. It's the easternmost point of New York. Got some really amazing sunrise stuff. Probably just stood there and shot it for like a half hour. It just kept being awesome. So this is where I spent the night last night. Not in this parking lot, but in the back of my vehicle. You see this sleeping bag and pillow and mattress. I'm back out on the... There's the famous Montauk lighthouse. I was just over on those rocks earlier this morning. Point. It's absolutely gorgeous out here. So I'm going to head back out on the rocks there and work my way around the point and see what else I can do. the other side of the point from where I was a few minutes ago. I just forget how much I miss just being next to the water and listening to the waves crashing until I'm actually here. I love being next to the ocean. Alright, so I'm down to the beach from the lighthouse a little bit. And as I mentioned earlier, there's surfers in the water. And as you can tell, I'm in warm or cold weather clothing, probably 40s out right now. I'm bundled up. There are guys surfing. It just looks really cold to be doing that, so I may have full wetsuits on, but still, damn. Okay, so I'm on Orient Point, which is the North Fork of Long Island, getting ready to get on the ferry over to Connecticut. And in fact, I believe this is the, you can see in the distance there, I believe that is the ferry coming from Connecticut. Should be docking in a little bit, and I'll be on my way over to the other side. Extremely lucky. I'm the very last car to get on the ferry over to Connecticut. Otherwise I would have had to wait another hour or two. I feel bad for the guy behind me. But I made it. So this is my view at the moment. Well, we can get out and head upstairs. Check out the view from up there. You can hear me over the rumble of the motors and the wind and all that, but as I said, I made it on the ferry, headed towards Connecticut. And that is Orient Point behind us. I believe the trip takes a good hour or two anyway, so we'll hang out inside and enjoy the views. To Connecticut. I'm going to make my way back to the car. It's actually quite a quaint little town here of New London. Actually, I'm going to walk along the other side. There's a cool little bridge going across the river. down at the other end, that's where the cars are driving out. And here's my car, the very, very last one. I was the last one on. Let's see if I can get off any sooner. Well, so after my awesome luck getting on the ferry and getting over to Connecticut, I had zero luck finding out anything about a boat charter to get out to the tri-point. Apparently it's not the season, and they don't really advertise online for those sorts of things. It's just the charter captains will post stuff in the store windows and whatnot for the tourists to see. So basically I have to come back in the summertime if I want to have any chance of getting out there. Although I did do the next best thing. I'm in Stonington, Connecticut right now, and I'm at the southern point of the town, which I can sort of almost see the tri-point from here. Plus I have another really awesome sunset tonight. I'll just pan around here. So there's the sunset. And over that direction is the Connecticut, New York, Rhode Island tri-point, which is just out past that breakwater, probably about 2 miles or so. So you can see that one point of land out there. It's just to the left of that somewhere. But unfortunately, can't get to it today, so I'll have to plan another excursion. And my next stop is going to be for dinner, and I'm going to try and get over to have some pizza at the world famous Mystic Pizza, which was made famous by the movie with Julia Roberts. So that should be cool. So I'm a movie buff, so I like seeing movie locations and all sorts of things, so that'll be fun. And then I start heading north up to the Connecticut, Massachusetts, Rhode Island tri-point, which will probably be tomorrow. But yeah, for right now, Mystic Pizza. I just came from having a delicious pizza at the world famous Mystic Pizza, made famous in the movie by the same name. It actually was a really good pizza. So I'm going to go check out the main street a little bit more, and then I will continue on up into northern Connecticut for the night, and I'll do the tri-point tomorrow. And I'll probably do it for today. It feels like it's midnight out, and it's only 6. Alright, well. Wait, take a picture.
I'm gonna haul it. I think the Jimmy Buffett Christmas thing with Christmas in the Caribbean. And then we just
And after I went down to check out the main street a little bit, discovered that they were having a Christmas boat parade, which I guess is an annual tradition, and I just happened to be here on the night they do it. So it was a lot of cool boats, one of which is over here, the Red Solo Cup, which I believe won a prize of some kind. This one, pile on top. with the giant red solo cups on top.
The only right in the river. Right. Yeah, the only place is on the main stage.
So this one has a bit more traditional decorations, complete with a Christmas tree and presents, and Mariah Carey. That's always cool when you stumble upon a local festivity like that, and when you're traveling, you know, it gives you a little taste of the local flavor. It's just kind of neat to see different things like that. So now I'm back in the car and I'm going to be heading north. I think I might actually check out Jerimoth Hill tomorrow also, which I've done 8 years ago, something like that, when it was snow covered, and which is the high point of Rhode Island, and it's only about 10 miles from the tri-point that I'm going to go to tomorrow, so it'll be my second summit of the 400-foot hill. Hey, I'm in Rhode Island at the state high point of Jerimoth Hill, and I'm about to take the trail back into the woods. It's not much of a trail and not much of a high point, but it is what it is. So I'm at the end of the trail. It was about a 2-minute walk back here, and it comes out to this clearing, and as we turn the corner back into the woods, here it is, the high point of Rhode Island. I'm the highest person in Rhode Island right now. Yep. It used to be harder to get back here. This is my second time doing this, and the first time was during an open access day, because the trail to get back here was on private property, and the owners would only allow high pointers back here a couple times a year, so you had to make sure you were here on those days if you wanted to do it. And they used to joke that it was one of the harder high points in the country because of that. Although I guess about a year ago or so, the High Pointers Club made a trail through the woods, which is now owned by the state. So it kind of circumvents some of the private property, and so now it's open year-round for high pointers. And so they have a cairn on top and a little ammo box with the registration book in it. I looked in the box a little bit earlier, and I'm the first person today, and there was 2 from yesterday, so yeah, it's mostly for high pointers. Recreational hikers and climbers probably wouldn't find too much interest in it, because it is so easy. It's literally like not even a quarter mile from the road on a completely flat trail. The hardest part is stepping up onto this rock all the way from the road. So, but it's a high point. So I'm in East Thompson, Connecticut, about ready to head out to the tri-point of Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island. It's just across the street over there. So it's about a half mile or so walk through the woods, according to Jack Parcells' book. We just walked through 3 states in about 10 seconds. This is the tri-state point marker of Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island. And so far, all the tri-points I've been to, well, 5 or 6 of them, have been marked, usually with some sort of granite marker like this, indicating which states are on which sides. Walk. The last couple hundred yards was up a fairly steep hill down this way. Not too bad though. Another trail over here, I believe, is the border of Connecticut and Rhode Island, and then this way is the border of Rhode Island and Massachusetts, and then down this way is the border of Massachusetts and Connecticut. So I actually ran into a guy up here. Well, I was up here first, and he came about 10 minutes later. Just an old guy from the area. Thought he'd check it out, and I was telling him a little bit about highpointing and all that stuff, and no idea that there was such a subculture as that. Thought it was interesting. Yeah, so it's actually not bad up here. With the foliage down, you can actually see quite a ways. So we're up at an elevation here, and yeah, you can see the hills in the distance through the trees. Kind of nice. A little chilly, but yeah, so another tri-point down. So I'm on the path back to the car, coming back from the tri-point, and the path is actually an old like railroad bed, and it's really cool. So it has a natural feel to it, but then at the same time it's kind of eerily man-made. And obviously the railroad is not here anymore. And just up ahead here, you can just start to see it. It's an old trestle, which apparently was like a cattle bridge back in the day. Still standing. It just kind of sits out here in the middle of nowhere. First couple steps seem pretty sturdy. Doesn't seem to wiggle when I bounce, but I don't know. I don't know if I quite trust it. I'm sure it's still pretty solid, but I don't want to take any chances. As you can see, there's lots of holes in it. So Again, it looks sturdy, and there's like big, what looks like probably 8x8s or 10x10 timbers going across, but